How's it going, guys? We're here to check out what is new with this monthly Force Wiping update. Now, there's not a whole lot of beefy content because it is a performance update like everyone has been begging for. They literally dropped working on the excavator and a bunch of other stuff and worked as fast as they could on performance. Alright, so before we get into that, because there's a lot of that, we're going to check out some of the things they did add. So the minicopter has got some fixes. You'll see right here there's a fuel gauge. We'll explain that in a second. But as of right now, I guess they found there was some big performance problems with the minicopter. So there was a bug in Unity which was breaking the amount of speed of the wheels of vehicle would wake the vehicle up even if the value was the same as last time. So I'm not sure what really all this means. Basically, they found a lot of problems that were causing performance issues. So it was sending a ton of data back and forth that didn't need to happen, and this was causing a decent frame rate drop for people and some other server performance issues. So they went ahead and worked on that and got them fixed up. Now, one of the other big bugs is the hot air balloons. When they're deflated, they still take up the space as if they were inflated. So if you fly above one and you aren't paying attention, you're going to crash into nothing and blow up. Hulk says he hasn't fixed that yet, but he said if only he could. So I'm sure that means he's well on the way to it. So let's look at the fuel gauge. So right now we have 25 fuel in there, and you'll see the gauge is at a quarter, almost empty. You're in the hazard zone. We go ahead and add another 25 into that, and you'll see that it goes up to half. And then putting 100 fuel will actually show a full tank. So it basically lets you know once you get below 100. Anything else more you have in there, it just appears to stay as you're cool, you're full. So that's how that one works right there. What's also neat is once someone is actually in the minicopter piloting it. Let's see, can I pull this off? We get a look here. There we go. You can actually see. See, I hate how it does that, but you can see that there's actually someone holding onto the stick and the pedals will move and so forth, which I thought was pretty cool, but it's kind of hard to show while you're flying it yourself. So it'd be a little easier with the spectator there. But there's also another thing. SAM sites previously, if you have ammo in them and you go ahead and pick them up, they would delete the ammo inside. Well, they're not supposed to anymore. I'm on staging, and for some reason it still is eating the ammo, so I'm not sure. I left Alistair a message for that. But again, I'm on staging, so this should most likely be a bug that is now fixed. Now with horses, we have the new trough item. Now there's a few people who jumped the gun and put out videos about it, and it wasn't fully done. It cannot be placed on a foundation no matter how low. You can't even really put it directly up against one either, okay? So that isn't a thing. If you look in the patch notes, they purposely made it that way. So yeah, that was just one of those things there. So anyways, you can place this on any kind of terrain that's even, and this is where you're going to keep your horses. You can keep up to 2 horses, and you can fill up 6 slots worth of food. They'll eat whatever. Right now they'll eat raw meat, they'll eat horse, they'll eat human, it doesn't matter. Eventually, of course, that'll be something that's changed. The trough itself doesn't appear to fill with anything. I don't know if we'll ever have to eventually give them water or if it will stay just food. But basically you can park 2 horses right in front of it, and as long as they're parked in front of it, they will stick around indefinitely until the food runs out. So that's how you got that going. So there are 10 new breeds of horses. The horse models have been redone, and their hair has been redone. So you can see the hair looks a lot better than it used to. And we've got these really cool models. So let's take a look at them all. The horse model was 5 years old. So these updated ones, they just look so much better. And there you have it. The 10 different horses. So we'll go ahead and show. So you basically can just jump on this guy over here. And park him right on up there. And there he goes. Boom. He's gonna fill his stamina and hang around. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, you can add a second horse. So it's 2 horses per trough. We're doing really bad at parking the horse at the trough. I wonder if we can park it on the opposite side. Does that work? No, it does look like it is a matter of directional. So we want to... Oh, no. You're not supposed to walk over it. I'm not the best horse parker. There we go. Boom. Oh, yep. See, okay. It did directionally matter, so they do need to actually be at the trough. So there you have that. Look at them go. Nom, nom, nom. All right. So, guys. Optimizations. Oh, before we get into that, the trough is a default blueprint, and it shows up under items, I believe. Trough. Yep, there it is. 750 wood. That's all you need. Boom, boom, boom. No workbench required. So you can just grab your horse and start going from the beginning. You just gotta chop a couple trees. So that's a nice thing right there. So, alright guys. Let's go ahead and cover some of this optimization stuff that has happened. So, gonna go ahead and do that. And we're just gonna run around on a horse. Alright, so Andre worked on server physics optimizations. So obviously he says, you know, we were plagued by quite a bit of performance problems lately, and he found and fixed the main causes of what they believe were causing it. Collider batching is no longer in use, but the code to check whether or not a collider was batched was still running. So this is something they got rid of a system, but part of it was still running in the background, causing a lot of performance hitches. They went ahead and fixed that. I guess they optimized code to get entities in a radius, optimized the code to look up entities or colliders. They optimized the physics transform sync, and basically that would send out calls and execute them in a random order. They fixed that to where it should be doing it in a proper order and less, you know, messing with things. I also want to mention there's more horses that spawn. In a 4x4 map, there should be about 64 horses. So that's actually a cool thing. They upped that. Then they also optimize player server updates, only to do a single synchronization for all players instead of doing it multiple times. And they said that basically servers should run a lot more efficiently with this done. So with servers running better, that means we're going to get better performance ourselves as well, because our machines have to communicate with said server. Andre also worked on distance tree memory optimizations. He changed the way that faraway trees are networked for the client. Usually they have their own object, but since the objects use a lot of memory, they went ahead and changed this to where you don't need the colliders unless you were within that area of that tree. Basically, it's more technical than that, but you get the idea. This saves roughly about 300 megabytes of RAM on a 4,000 size map. That's pretty decent. Hey, that's something, right? Then Andre also worked on client inventory optimization. This is where they noticed that there was a performance issue in the crafting UI that was triggered whenever the inventory was refreshed, which happens a lot during a fight. You know, bullets are going out, meds are being used, food being eaten, whatever kind of thing. You know, it's rapidly changing. And it no longer does it in the background. It's invisible and instead postpones it to the next time to become visible. Okay, so basically, I mean, what they're saying, it's basically going to fix some of that UI lag and some lag during gunfights is what they're hoping with the end piece there. Server packet optimization was done. They noticed that there was a lot of extra packets going. They've reduced this. This should help a lot with the high pop servers. Monument memory optimizations were done by the new person on the team, Rohan, and it said that monuments were requiring large assets to be loaded and processed when loading into a server. This contained all the objects that need to be placed in the train and need to be placed on. However, they find that after the map is fully loaded, they're no longer required and can be unloaded from memory. It took a few attempts to get them to successfully unload without causing crashes, or other errors, but they found a way, and they found that this saves around 800 megabytes of RAM. That is awesome. That's a pretty good optimization right there. Moving on, Helk worked on auto turrets. When the lasers were first added to them, they didn't seem to have much of an impact, but then people put, you know, like a billion of them on a base, and it would network range would run at 30 frames. So he fixed this issue, so now laser updates are throttled to a small percent of overall frame time, and the worst case example, the dots themselves will look like they're updating at a lower frame rate rather than your entire client. So that's good. I'd rather have the image of it lag a bit than me lag, you know? So he did that. You should notice more FPS around the oil rig and compound where there was other laser light kind of things were seen. So that's cool right there. Now he said it does speak to the fact auto turrets do need to be nerfed a bit, and that it will soon require electricity. He said enjoy the last wipe of turret spam. That's it, guys. They're going to require electricity next wipe in August if all goes to Helk's plan. So keep that in mind right there, guys. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's been pretty much the majority of it, guys. There's a new hat tip emote, but for some reason I couldn't get it to work, so I'm not sure what's up with that one there. Maybe it wasn't fully implemented, but yeah, that's the gist of it, guys. Like I said, it was pretty much just performance, but that's what the game needed, and it's what everyone's asking for. And this doesn't mean they've done one update, they're not doing it. They're still working very hard on the HD RP, which if you want to hear about that more in detail, you can watch my last video. I'm not going to bore you about that, but it's still going to be a huge change. They're still working heavily on performance. For the excavator monument, we may see it in August at the earliest. It obviously isn't here. They put all of that kind of stuff, like I said earlier, on hold to optimize and fix the game's performance. So that does it, guys. Thanks for watching. I think skins will be coming out later today, so keep an eye out for that. As always, I hope you guys had a great week. We'll see you in the fresh wipe, and have a great 4th of July weekend if you're from America. Otherwise, just have a lovely Rust weekend.